As an RA, one of your more visible aspects of the job is interacting with residents and people in your community. Interactions can be really intentional, such as setting up into like roommate dates or hangouts, or just having your door open while you're in your room. Interactions are a really good way to get to know your own residents and residents on other floors, and also get to talk with people who work in the building, such as Fix-It, RSAs, or the main desk assistants.
Paperwork refers to some of your other responsibilities as an RA. So a lot of times you'll have to do a weekly blog, letting your supervisors know how your week was, what type of programming you did, what type of interactions you had with your residents, and also like how you're doing personally, because that's also very important to them. Some of the other paperwork can include when you confront a situation, you have to do what's called an incident report, and you have to write all about what happened, and so your supervisor knows exactly what happened and knows what the appropriate course of action to take is.
Being on duty is one of the most important aspects of being an RA. So duty entails the RA walking around the community, making sure everybody's safe and the building's in good standing. That basically nothing's on fire per se. It helps as an RA you also be mediating crisis. So as an RA you receive training to kind of deal with incidents such as alcohol poisoning or any other things that are going on throughout the building. And RA will also be on desk duty every once in a while. That means that the RA will be working the main desk from 8 o'clock in the evening until midnight. And you'll basically just be at the desk giving out packages, handing out keys and equipment, and just addressing any other needs that should be addressed at the main desk.
Opening refers to the processes to make sure that the building is ready to start the semester. This happens in August and January. During this time, you'll be making bulletin boards, making door decks, and making sure that the building is ready to start the semester. Closing refers to the processes that you'll go through at the end of each semester to make sure that the building is ready to be closed for the long break. This happens in December, right before winter break, or in May, right before you leave for the summer. You'll go through a bunch of processes just to make sure that the building is clean and ready to be closed.
As an RA, you'll be programming throughout the semester. Programs are a really good way to get your residents out of the room and talk with each other, interact, and just overall bond. Programs can be really simple, from just decorating mason jars to anything that you can think of. The cool thing about programming is that your supervisors will be able to help you out regarding funding and materials and supplies. And a lot of times you'll get really awesome feedback from your residents as well. And you'll be able to make more intentional programming depending on the feedback you get from your residents as well.
Population-based responsibilities refers to specific responsibilities you have based off of the building that you work in. The different types of populations can be freshmen, mixed populations, or upperclassmen. Once you get hired, it's very important to know what specific responsibilities your building entails based off of who lives there. And it's important that you know this so that you can do as good of a job as possible to make sure that your residents have as good of an experience as possible.
As a resident advisor, you will be responsible for bulletin boards throughout your building. Bulletin boards are a really good way to kind of put information out there, whether there be flyers or just about events around campus, or any other initiatives such as the It's On Us campaign, or for example, cultural appropriation costumes during Halloween. This is a really good way to interact with residents doing like passive play and just make the building look better overall.
One of the most important aspects of the RA job is self-care. As an RA, you are responsible for taking care of a large group of people, but you cannot take care of others if you don't take care of yourself first. You owe it to your residents to make sure that you are doing well, that you are happy, that you are not overly stressed. So just make sure that throughout the year you're taking care of yourself and make sure that you are doing the best that you can for your residents and for your staff.
As an RA, you'll be having weekly meetings with your staff members and your senior staff. So these meetings are a really good way for you to communicate with your staff and senior staff members about things that are going on in the building, and it's also a really good chance for your senior staff to provide information about the building, such as events or any other issues that are within the community. Staff meeting is also a really good way to see the rest of your staff members if you don't see them as often throughout the week due to their schedules, and just overall see them again and talk with them.
Other duties as assigned is a fun little part in the last little bit of your contract that means that you are responsible for doing other extra things that may come about throughout the year. Some of these things may include lobby bulletin boards, they may include cleaning out the resource room, and there's other things that may not be a part of your day-to-day job description or your week-to-week job description, just other things that your bosses may need to make the building run more smoothly.
As an RA, mediation is one of the most important aspects of being on the job. mediation entails that you will be kind of the third party within a conflict, whether it be between roommates, friends, or somebody else in the community. Usually you're responsible for finding the most beneficial way of resolving the conflict for everybody involved in it. If a conflict becomes a little bit too much for you, you can always contact supervisors and we'll be able to help you out to resolving this conflict.
When and if you get hired as an RA, your compensation will be that you will have your women board paid for and taken care of as a part of your compensation for this job. Now, if you decide to become a learning community RA, you will also get an extra weekly stipend based off of specifically learning community tasks that you will complete.